I'm wearing the same T-shirt as I did last time
Oh,
when we
really?
chatted.
Sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah,
But
perfect.
John, great t-shirt. All right, 1, 2,
Thank you.
3, clap. Let's rock and roll. Welcome, everybody. We have our favorite guest here on the show, Jonathan from AJ&Smart. Dude, people loved you. People have missed you on the show. Thank you for coming in again, especially like 2 minutes before you're having a kid. Finding time to talk to us again. So what are we going to talk about today, man? What's up? What's on your mind?
What do people want on YouTube? They usually like when we're super honest about money stuff.
All right.
I think they're usually, I think let's start off with some money talk. How about that?
I'm always open about money talk. And you've been super open about that as well lately, talking about, making millions of euros with your agency, but doesn't always affect your life immediately. So what's that?
So, yeah, one of the things that I find really interesting is that a lot of people, when they hear about, entrepreneurs running multi-million euro businesses or agencies, they assume that the people running these companies are rich because the word million is in there. But even though
by the
Smart,
way, let's be honest. You're dropping the word a lot, okay? So people
yeah, for
know,
sure.
right?
Yeah. I'm proud of the fact that my company does make now under $5 million, but still it's growing and growing every year. But I guess the thing to understand is that if you want to, people hear that and they're like, oh my God, I also want that. But I think it's good to understand that it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to make a lot of money. Because I think if I would have worked at one of the companies that asked me to work with them full time, like let's say, you or I took a job at IBM, a salary there can be pretty high per year, especially for senior design roles. I am 100% sure that I would have more money in the bank right now if I worked for one of these companies than I have in my bank now from running my own company. So I think it does take a lot longer than people think. Even if you're running a very successful company, even if it's in the millions, many people who I studied with are probably making a lot more money than me just because they took the safer path. So it's not always the smart decision if you're not naturally like someone who wants to take all that risk, and if you're just doing it for money, it's maybe not like the best thing to do.
Okay, so let me ask you that.
That's what I think.
Let me ask you that. Only if you're open about this. Like, what salary do you actually take in, and why do you set that as your salary and not higher or lower or something?
I take, I think I'd give myself 80,000 euro per year.
Okay. So it's around like $100,000, something like that.
Yeah, maybe like $95,000, something like that.
Okay.
And this is like, when I take these LinkedIn recruiter calls just to see what happens. And this is like not even, it's so much lower than anything I would ever be offered.
Okay, so how do you make this decision? Like what? Like why this number? Why not more or less? Why aren't you raising it? Or like, how do you give yourself a raise? How do you decide about that?
So it's a really good question. I think I choose the price that's based on making sure that the number one, that the company can keep running. Number two, that I actually am getting something, out of it. So for me, I know I could take a much higher salary, but it would add more risk to the company running in the long term. So I know some other people running companies who do take out much bigger dividends or much bigger profit shares, so that they can buy a house or put some money down on an apartment. I just don't feel good about doing that. I feel like I want the company to be here in 10 years, and I feel like taking an extra 20K per year could damage that, because I like to reinvest. I mean, look at our YouTube channel, look at things like this, look at our podcast. Like, this stuff costs money. You need to hire people to do this kind of thing, and if I'm taking that money out of the company, then I just can't grow it and I can't make it into something. And I guess the whole point of being an entrepreneur is really to grow something, and it's this constant feeling of progress. And I don't want to buy anything. I'm not someone who likes fancy stuff. I don't like buying. I don't. What do I want? I don't know. I don't want anything.
I'm having the same struggle right now because this year has been my best year ever. It's like I just passed the 300 K mark, and it's not the end of the year. I still have 2 months left.
Dollars.
Yeah, it's 300K dollars. I'm just
Nice.
freelancing. I do outsource some of the work sometimes, but I don't have employees. So it's you. But I'm also heavily invest. So first of all, I'm paying a lot of debt that I have for previous year. So nothing in my life has changed. But I've also, the more money that I started having, I started to invest heavily as well. But now that at the end of the year, I'm actually um, paying off, I'm finishing to pay off my debt. I do have this thinking about next year, like, should I just take all the money and go to fancy vacations, and I do want at least nice vacations. Not, I don't care about cars,
Yeah.
but I do love going on vacations with the family and everything.
Yeah.
So I do have this struggle about, can we take more money home and then like enjoy our life, or should I just leave it in the business to invest? So this is, for me, it's a hard decision right now at this point.
Yeah, I think you should be careful because for me, I mean, I'm just being really open and honest right now. And over the last 7 years, there's probably been almost every year, except for this year, a time where I just didn't take salary because I was worried about the business and I really wanted to make
Oh
sure it
wow!
kept surviving.
Even this year,
And that
like even at this point.
this year didn't happen, but I almost bankrupted AJ&Smart in
Okay,
June this year.
but not too far long ago.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that was just because honestly, I'm the CEO, so all of that was my fault, and I don't have any. Literally, it was all my fault. But if I had been taking a much higher salary, it would have been much harder to stop that from happening.
Mm.
So what do you give yourself a salary, or do you just take what you get out of it? How do you do it as a freelancer?
So right now, so again, I have like, so at this point, I first of all, I have my expenses. I already have a set amount of expenses, with the rent, with the kids, with everything, that
Yeah,
like basic set of expenses. And then this year I was paying a debt on top of it. So
the debt
that,
was because of a tax issue, right?
yeah, my accountant I didn't pay enough tax for the previous 2 years because of an accountant mistake, and then I had to pay it all at once, and it was like a lot of
Fuck.
money. Yeah. Yeah, accountant is fired. No worries.
Yeah,
um,
good.
yeah, and but again, I also think this was a good thing, because I don't think I would have pushed myself so hard, and have made this jump if it didn't happen. I'll probably just, I don't know. I didn't even have financial goals before this year. I don't know. So
Yeah,
this year was major kind of growth thing. But before that, I didn't even understand finance well enough to understand that, you have a business. Not all the profit in the business should just go to your pocket. Just leave something in it. Invest. Like, I would invest in, buying courses, books, and going to events and
yeah,
stuff.
for
But I wouldn't
sure.
I wouldn't see it as like a business investment. I wouldn't think about it this way. Um, Now I'm really thinking about, okay, next year I might hire somebody, to help me with the
Yeah,
video, help me with this, help me with that, so that I can really focus on things that provide more value instead of just taking the money home. Because I feel like,
exactly.
yeah, it'll help to grow the business. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah.
the other thing is, I mean, again, like as I said, I could be working in another place for a lot more money, but I have people here. I have 21 people here at AJ and Smart, kind of doing essentially the things that I don't personally enjoy doing. And or like I build a certain part of the business, like the sprints, and then I'm like, okay, that's not something I want to do every week anymore. And so I can hand that over and say, now they run that. And I always get to think, I mean, me taking less money than I could be making, kind of, I still have a lot of time now, a lot more time to think about the business, about the future, while making I mean, it's still a good salary, but it's not something that I could be getting on the market. So I think it's not just about, if you hire some people, it might happen next year that your personal income goes down. But I don't think that's a bad thing if you think of it long term. Like right now, I'm at a position where I can go off. I'm having a kid maybe next week, and I could take quite a long time off, and the company would still grow. The company would still do its thing, and I think that that's sort of the. Oops, you've frozen. Your face has frozen. Are you still there?
Yeah, I lost you. I
Okay.
lost you, and I'm having a
you,
kid.
yeah, exactly. So I was saying that, I mean, I think it got recorded on Zencaster, but yeah, I mean, the fact that I can do that and the company can still run is something that is very satisfying, obviously, and the company can still grow. Even though it meant that for 7 years I kind of had to sacrifice salary sometimes, or not make as much money as my friends or whatever. So yeah, I think it is like, that's something about building a business, is that you do then have this thing that you've created that does work without you. So for me, I consider, like, a lot of my friends have bought apartments and houses. I haven't. I don't have anything expensive, but I consider this business to be my investment.
Basically, on like, you own the company or a part of the company, and so you, on paper, you own this equity in your net worth, and
Yeah,
it's just the same as people who own a house. They don't have the money in the bank.
yeah.
They have this kind of paper that says, on paper, this house is worth something, and so your net worth is something. So basically, just thinking about this, you are a millionaire because you own this piece of million euros equity.
The only difference is that a house, so for example, a house will stay valuable and it kind of moves with the market, even if I don't do anything, even if I don't live in it. Whereas this company loses value if I make bad decisions. So
It's
it's,
true.
I guess you
It's just
could
a more
say that
riskier asset. Yeah.
yeah, it's a riskier asset, but I don't understand how to do investing in other things. So this for me is the only asset I can create, because I understand how to run at least this type of an agency. So yeah, I would never consider myself to be a millionaire. I mean, I probably don't even have 100,000 euro in my bank account. I don't even know what it means to be a millionaire. By the way, I don't know what the calculation is. But yeah, it's not something that I'm like super excited about, like that sort of that sort of money. But what I am excited about is building a lasting business. That's the thing that excites me.
So how do you think about growth? I mean, you said, okay, money is like, I don't care about the money. I care about like a lasting company, or like the value, or so how do you like, when you think about growth for AJ and Smart, do you think, how do I make more money? How do I hire more people? How do I make more impact?
It's
Like, what's growth for you?
I actually do think about how do we make more money. So I'm being really, I'm completely going against what I said. So for 2019, I am looking at now trying to get over this 5 million hump. So it's just an easy way to measure things. Money is an easy way to measure things. I definitely don't count growth as how many people we have here. But yeah, like us being able to get bigger clients, bigger brands, have more control over what we do, being a bit more choosy with what we do. And yeah, I do measure it. I do want to have, it's kind of stupid, but I do want to have more money every year for the company, because I also want to do other things. I want to buy freedom for ourselves. I actually want to. Next year, invest in video games as well. I want to invest in people working on indie games. I want to put some money into that. And we've never had that. We've never had any
Personally,
leftover.
or as a company? As a company?
Maybe as a company.
Yeah,
Maybe as a company.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't even really know how to do it, but it's something that I'm passionate about personally. Video games, I love them. Playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at the moment.
I
Oh
see it
my
all
god,
over
it's
your
amazing.
Instagram.
Oh, it's so good. But we've never had enough money at AJ&Smart left over. Our profit margins are unbelievably bad. But next year, I really, really want to try to improve that. I'm getting better at running a business now. I've been so bad at it for the last 7 years. But yeah, I'm trying to improve that so we have some money left over. But yes, I do measure it in terms of money, but I also measure it in terms of, you know, I saw something great the other day. Scott Belsky's new book, the Messy Middle. He talks about, when you look back, what you should see if growth is working well is that the good times from this year are like 10 times better than the good times from last year, and the bad times from this year are like still a lot better than the bad times from last year. So it's not like the company goes like this and it's always perfect, but it's kind of going like this all the time and slightly improving each year. And I think, like, even though this year we had some really bad financial issues and really bad strategic decisions from me,
Can you talk about
it's
this?
definitely.
Like, what was it like?
Yeah, sure, I can tell you. So one of the biggest things that I thought was going to happen this year is that I thought we were going to make 3 million euro from in-person training.
Okay.
This is sort of these boot camps
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
do.
sure. I was one of them.
And oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
You were there. And yeah, so what I did is I invested in bringing a team together to make this happen. And on this team was going to have somebody who knows how to build businesses. So essentially my goal was to build a completely separate AJ&Smart training business that would be, that would just be this separate entity that creates value and grows its own team. I decided that in November 2017. And it took me until March 2018 to realize that this was just a really bad choice of team, that I selected the wrong team. I gave them the wrong expectation. Again, by the way, like 100% my fault. I'm the CEO. It's my responsibility to watch this stuff. And so I had to take, in March 2018, we basically, in quarter one and quarter two of 2018, we made probably 30,000 euro from the training team. In quarter one and quarter two of 2017, we made 500,000. So it actually got so much worse. It went backwards. And it took me way too long to figure out that it went wrong. So instead of fixing it, I decided to just take it apart. And that's when we actually did the online course, which is amazing. But it was like, the only reason we did the online course is because I fucked up the in-person strategy so bad, and I needed to make back some money. But now the online course is like the biggest source of revenue from all of our education stuff.
It's so crazy. For me, it was just the same. You know, I did the online course because I had like a block without a client. I was like, let's do an online course instead of client work. Bam, it's making more money than client work. It's just literally crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Dude, my camera battery is dying. So, famous last words about growing your revenue to millions of dollars and still not living the millionaire lifestyle.
I think it doesn't matter how much money you have. I've worked in companies where I've had much better salaries. Money won't, everyone says this, but it's 100% true. Money won't make you happy. It's the purpose. It's like, why do you get up on a Monday morning? It's not for money. Believe me, no one does for money. No one cares about money.
Dude, they're not gonna,
especially
this is not going to be the clickbaity title. They're not gonna.
Damn it! Oh, sorry, clickbaity title.
No, I'm just kidding. I was just like, this is the truth, but nobody wants to hear it. Nobody's gonna.
Yeah.
believe
Okay.
it.
Let me think of one. And you should leave this in the video.
Of course I will.
Okay. How to double your revenue in 2019?
No. It's gonna be.
It's
something
too fake.
More solid. Yeah. No way.
Money. Millionaire agency. Money won't make you happy.
I'll think of something better. No worries.
Yeah.
All right, dude. It was
coolhats.com.
to catch up with you. Take your time and enjoy having a kid. I hope everything goes smoothly and have a great time. We'll have a chat about entrepreneurs with kids, which is a subject there's not a lot of videos about. So this is going to be a very strong niche. Very strong niche. All right, dude.
Love it.
Have a great day.
Congratulations on everything. Goodbye.
Talk soon.
Bye.